Well, we finally got some rain and I finally got a chance to make it out to the river again. It's been a while. It's a little high and a little fast still, but hopefully we can catch some fish. I'll try to explain a little bit how I fish a river. It's a little fast and high, a little stained, so today, instead of throwing a size 90 or 75, I'm going with a size 110 whopper plopper. I'm going to throw a dark color. Actually switching up my whopper plopper rod to my Daiwa Tatula 7-foot medium regular action rod. I try to hit the eddies up around these fast moving ripples and currents, and then I'll cast into the currents, especially on hotter days. They'll be right in the middle of the currents. Today's kind of overcast. It's been getting a lot cooler at night, so they might be more in the eddies. And be fishing around current a lot, especially if you're fishing in a river around smallmouth. They love current. So it's smart to bring an anchor with you. You ain't got to keep positioning your boat. You don't have the best of luck when it's high and fast like this. Usually catch some once in a while. It's also good to have at least 2 rods with you. I usually have a whopper plopper on one, and then like a Cinco, wacky rig, Nico rig, Texas rig. Something like a follow-up bait on the other rod. Good sign to spread out today. Usually catch a couple in that spot. But you can tell the river's moving pretty good. It's slowed down a lot over the last day and a half. It's dropped probably 1.5 feet. If I didn't go today, it might even be too low to kayak tomorrow. That's how fast it's been dropping. You just want something you can cover water with fast and just try and float down the river. Look for interesting stuff to throw at. Try to hit both sides up. There's so much cover and structure and big boulders underneath the water for the fish to hide at. They can literally be anywhere. I have my normal spots that I catch them at, but especially on days like today when the water is moving a little bit faster, they're going to be a little bit more spread out. So you just want to cover as much water as you can. Like there's so much stuff that just looks so good, like these big rocks right here. Never caught a fish. Always cast by them, they look so good. Never caught a fish by them. There's just so much stuff like that in this river that not every big boulder, not everything that looks like they're gonna hold fish is gonna hold fish. Just gotta cover as much water as you can. If I reach a section like this, it's usually dead water. Water's not moving very fast. I don't catch very much fish. Just throw a couple lines out behind me. So I got 2 moving bait rods, lures attached today. I'll go ahead and throw both of them out. And just kind of troll to the end of this part till we get better water. Main spots I look for is right before a little like bottlenecks like this that create ripples and fast moving waters right before it, and especially right after it. So when you come through a current like that, you want to try and be as stealth as possible so you don't scare away the fish that's in the current or in the eddies beside the current. These are the barbless hooks I've been using. Been doing pretty good. I think I'm gonna go ahead and put one on a Nico rig now though. All this current makes it a little bit harder to feel the bite when the fish starts to take your bait sometimes. And that way if you do gut hook one, it'll be easy to pull out. Now I'll throw a whopper plopper most of the year because this river is pretty shallow. Throw it in the spring, summer, fall. And then when I hit more deeper pocket sections like this, and then that's when I'll break out the Nico rig or Texas rig. Something to go a little bit deeper. And it doesn't matter if sun's shining or not, I'll throw that whopper plopper. As you can see, this river's stays pretty much shaded most of the year. Has trees on both sides. Even in sunny conditions, they'll still bite that whopper plopper. I'll reach a little bit more deeper of a sections. I wouldn't exactly call it deep. It might be 2 to 4 feet deep right here, depending on water levels. That's when I'll throw something that's a little bit more bottom oriented. There's a little smallmouth. First fish of the day. Got him on the barbless. Comes right on out. Doesn't hurt the fish. So at least doesn't hurt him near as much. Doesn't tear him up. Just a little one. Maybe 9-10 inches long. But gets the skunk out of the kayak. Little rock bass. Choked it. There's something over there biting at it. Felt bigger than a rock bass though. And he choked that worm. Second fish of the trip, little tiny rock bass. So rundown, or I don't know if it's from a farm up there or what. Looks like water runs down that hill right there sometimes. Fish like a congregate below it. It's a pretty good spot for me usually. Got lots of moving water on that side of the river, so I come and just set up anchor on this side. I always want to look for stuff like that, drainage pipes, little drainage ditches, creeks like that, runoffs, anything that's going to bring some fresh water into the river. It's usually good spots for smallmouth and rock bass. And get a good look at that little runoff right there. Bunch of rocks, you can tell water comes down it. I don't know how often, but fish definitely like to hang out there. I've sat in that spot and caught quite a few fish. But looks like only one today, one little small rock bass. Kind of the way it's been this year though. Oh, there's a deer right ahead of me. Just staring at me. It's like a little fawn. It's starting to change color now. There it goes. He just still staring at me. Probably hard to see now. Oh, it's two of them. Is that a hawk? Wasn't an eagle. Either a hawk or an owl just flew. It's nice just to be able to look around at the nature and wildlife around you while you're fishing. Sometimes I get caught up and just concentrating fully on fishing and forget how much I used to love just coming out and kayaking and paddling and enjoying nature before I even started fishing. It's actually what got me into fishing, was just coming out and paddling the rivers in my kayak. Alright, whopper plopper fish. Or smallmouth. They're a little guy. Tell he's been starting to gorge for the winter though. Little belly on him. 2 smallmouth, 2 rock bass so far. First whopper plopper fish. Ah, you little punk. It's like a rock bass. It's a 5th fish. All small though. Another rock bass. Bunch of tiny ones too today. Usually some pretty big rock bass in here. 4 rock bass, 2 smallmouth so far. Better than nothing, but not great. Another thing I'll try and do, so I don't have to set an anchor down, is if you have a bank or a shallow area, like a sandbar, or in my case, like a little area of weeds, like you can just kind of get stuck on by some moving water like this. That way you can hit the eddies up, have plenty of time to fish the eddies beside the moving water. What the heck? That is one tiny rock bass. Almost thought it was a bluegill for a minute. Look at this thing. This thing is about as big as those Whopper Plopper 110. What are you thinking, little guy? You that hungry? A little ambitious, aren't you? Another tip for fishing a river is you want to reel your braid up a little bit closer to the end of the tip of your rod. Give you a little bit more accurate of a cast, because that's what you're mostly going for when you're on a narrow river, is accuracy. If you're going for distance, you want it hanging down a little bit farther, about 1.5 to 2 feet or so. But when you're in the river, you want a little bit closer to that tip and get a little bit accurate of a cast. A rock bass. Don't just want to concentrate on the banks either. I catch a lot of fish right in the middle of the river. There's a lot of boulders and stuff like that right in the middle of the river. Fish like to hide under and ambush prey. Bones from a deer or something. Another rock bass.